Good evening and welcome to the PSS Insights podcast. My name is Andre Lobo. I'm the Executive Director of PSS, Personal Search Services, Re and Burnson. Today I have as a guest Mr. Gautam Hirdaramani. Gautam is a strategy consultant with ECube. So Gautam, maybe we'll get into the term itself, right? So if we just go by a very simple definition, E stands for the environment, social is S, and G is governance. Can you elaborate on that? So while we know what the terms mean in terms of the definition,
Sure.
what is it? How does ESG work in the context of business?
So ESG as a terms, one is has actually gained popularity over the last few years. It's actually a framework. So like you normally have balance sheets and annual reports that actually tell you about a company's financial success and a lot of other performance metrics. ESG is a framework to assess the non-financial aspects of a company. I think today there's a huge growing need that investors and society generally want companies to be less extractive, be more sustainable, and be better for the planet. I mean, we're all experiencing climate change across the world, and we understand that if we don't do something to forget just arrest it, we have to actually backtrack and like reduce where we are at and improve that. So it's basically a framework. There's a lot of investment managers globally that have committed to using ESG metrics in their investment strategies. So I believe the number I read last by Bloomberg is that by 2030 $40 trillion under management is going to have ESG focus. So a lot of companies that have ESG performance. So ESG performance is, of course, scoring well on all three metrics, E, S, and G.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
Got it.
where.
But how long has the ESG framework existed, and how long has it been sort of a function in a business environment, like a business function? Is this something that's gone
So,
mainstream in the last few years, 4, 5 years, or longer?
so the terminology has been used more recently, but sustainability in businesses has been going on since the 2000s. I think some companies even go back beyond. If you look at just the old school way, I think the Tatas used to do a lot of the S even like 120 years ago. They used to give even contract workers pension and a lot of things that like a lot of corporates are adopting today and looking at. But I think there are a lot of frameworks. So if you look at sustainability, I think GRI is one of the most popular ones
Mm.
that's used globally. But there's SASB, there's TCFD, there's a whole bunch of alphabet soups, there's integrated reporting. There are a lot of different frameworks companies use, and it all depends a lot on their geography. So a lot of European companies would use particular versus a lot of companies also report on SDGs, which are your sustainability development goals with their 17. So they report against that, against each goal, what they're doing and what they're not. And yeah, I think it's so everyone's been doing something. I think we've had enough COPs and we've had enough different, summits where people have been discussing it and how corporates can add value and improve. But in India, we have it was compulsory from last year. We have something called the BRSR, which is the Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. I think the 2 year or 3 years predating it, we in India we had the BRR, which is the Business Responsibility Report. And I think in 2018 also in India we had something called the National Guidelines of Responsible Business Conduct, where we had 9 principles where companies would report against. So they would follow these. And so it covered a lot of topics. It covered environment, it covered social, it covered governance. So it's been there. I think ESG is now a more recent terminology of putting all your frameworks together. And because a lot of companies report multiple, report only one, it's really dependent on the regulatory environment at where they're at. It depends on their customers. It depends on a lot of things on why people report and how much they report.